Hey guys, my name is Kelton and this is Obsessed Reviews. And today we are with the 2024 Hyundai Sonata. Now let it be known that the weather is really bad today, so if it seems like the quality is down, audio quality, any quality, it's because of that. For the 2024 model year, the Hyundai Sonata was refreshed and basically to have more tame styling and to cater to more people in terms of styling. And it also received a number of other updates. This is a SEL Plus model. Actually, no, there is no Plus now. It's just the SEL, and it has no packages, so you won't see anything like a panoramic sunroof on it. But it still offers a lot for the money. This is actually a pre-owned model, and they have slightly refreshed it again for 2025. When it was redesigned back in 2021, it was best in class, but it still is very stylish, and I consider it to be a solid pick for anybody looking in the midsize sedan segment, which is shrinking at an alarming rate. Starting with the exterior design here, we'll go ahead and go to the front end, which is going to be the most redesigned for the 2024 model year. You can see we now have that LED light bar that spans across the entire front end, and then we have the lower bumper, which has been slightly redesigned, and they integrated the headlights more into the whole look than before. And before they had the whole LED segment going up the side of the vehicle and integrated into the silver. And I kind of missed that because the fade was really cool, but I guess not enough people liked it. In the front end, we can see we don't have that catfish design anymore, which was very controversial. If you remember back in 2021, everybody had an opinion on it. Most people didn't like it, or some were able to deal with it. So I'm glad that Hyundai is kind of trying to make sure that most people will like the design of this car, and I definitely like it. I never had a problem with the catfish design. It was unique. It was cool to me, but whatever. And they definitely are keeping it updated with Hyundai's design style as a whole. Coming around to the side of the vehicle, you can see we have some 17-inch wheels, and these are not my favorite. I really wish they would have did 18s for the SEL or 19s to push it, but for the Sonata, they've only ever done 19s for the inline, really, unless you count the SEL Plus that they offered 19s on for a short time. So yeah, but I'm sure this does a lot for the ride quality. The 19s on the inline look much better to me, but these are still cool, and they work for the SEL. Okay, now as we come to the side profile, this is where I kind of noticed this weird thing that's going on with Hyundais and Kias currently. And yeah, mostly their sedans really, is that they're blacking out the trim on some places but not others, and on some cars but not others. As you can see, this looks really messy to me, and it's kind of messing up the side profile, just making it look half done, or I don't know, like somebody took it aftermarket and messed it up. But then you would think that was something they do on the whole vehicle, and you come on this side and it's not on the whole vehicle. It's just that side. So I don't know if this is something that the person that had this car before did aftermarket, but it's definitely something that I've noticed mostly on K5s, not on Sonatas, but just wanted to say something about that. Then as we come to the side profile, that's going to be the thing mostly not changed for 2024. It's going to remain the same as the pre-refreshed Sonata. And I really like the side profile. The only thing that's messing it up for me is kind of the new taillights, which make it look a little more bulky on the back, but it's still a very nice design and a solid design. I'm curious, with all the lines and different design features that Hyundai does, how will this age as time continues? Now, coming to the light bar on the back, this is a really nice design feature, and of course, very much something that is adhering to current design trends, but I really like it. The only thing I don't like is how the actual brake light is these three bars. It feels a little boxy to me, which is not how the Sonata's design was originally for this generation. So it feels a little out of place. But overall, it doesn't mess up the design at all, and it still looks really cool. And I can imagine it's something that a lot of people would find attractive on a midsize sedan. And the rear as a whole still looks nice, especially with the inline model, which I'll put a picture up for you guys to compare. And like the K5, for example, I feel like the rear design was a little messed up on the rear diffuser for the refreshed model, but the Sonata didn't do that for me. Even this SEL model, I can get down with. The K5 it feels a little tamed down for 2025 and up. In the front end, we can see we don't have that catfish design anymore, which was very controversial. If you remember back in 2021, everybody had an opinion on it. Most people didn't like it, or some were able to deal with it. So I'm glad that Hyundai is kind of trying to make sure that most people will like the design of this car, and I definitely like it. I never had a problem with the catfish design. It was unique. It was cool to me, but whatever. Okay, and as we kind of look at the front again, I just want y'all to think, what does this remind you of? For me, it's the Lucid Air. Every single time I see one of these driving down the street at nighttime, and when I first see that light bar, I think it's the Lucid Air, and I get kind of excited. Then I just see it's the Sonata, and I'm like, oh, okay. Not that this car isn't cool, but love seeing Lucid Airs. All right, now we're inside the Hyundai Sonata SEL. And I will say, I really like the new screen setup in the new Hyundai Sonata. Let's go ahead and start it up. As you can see, we have a all new setup for 2024, and I really love this screen. It's very nice and huge. It's a 12.3-inch unit. And then we have this over here. I actually don't like this setup that Kia and Hyundai have implemented into a lot of their vehicles. If it was a fully digital gauge cluster, that'd be fine, but they kind of trick you into thinking it is when it really isn't. It's just a real screen right here, a 6-inch, and then you have some kind of, I don't even know how to say it, like pre-built screens or gauges that you can't change. So it has a seamless look in a way, but it's just it's some trickery going on there. This screen, though, it's very responsive. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, wireless, of course. Every single time I've jumped in this car, not even trying to get it to connect, it connects instantly, which I love, because some vehicles don't connect to Apple CarPlay, wireless Apple CarPlay, as fast as they should. And then the sound system in this thing, it is an SEL, like I said, so it only has a 6-speaker sound system, bass sound system, and I just tested it, and it's pretty okay. Now I'm going to say something, and I don't want any Hyundai fanboys to take it the wrong way, but I think that materials should be better in here for the price. Now, don't get me wrong, the materials in here aren't like horrendous. You do have some nice touch points, and but there's a lot of places, like right here where my leg is, that, and then the door seals right here, and this material is really cheap. It's just a lot of places in this interior where I feel like the materials should be better. And I understand this is a low-end model. This is not the inline. The inline, I feel like, looks better because of the different materials that it gets. But having different material choices depending on the trim level and having them all still be good is a very important thing. And I feel like when you get on the lower trims with some of these Hyundai models, it can just get really cheap, and the screen becomes the centerpiece, which is fine if that's what you want, but I'm pretty sure that's not what most buyers want. They want the entire interior to give them, a feeling of luxury or high-endness. And if you want to talk about price, go back and look at the 2018 Mazda 6, which you can get for very cheap now, and compare those materials to these. A touring model would have stickered for less than this at the time, and the materials would have been so much better. So there's really no excuse in my book. Now let's talk about this shifter. I actually don't have a problem with the shifter. I feel like whenever we see things like this where it's just special, people get all up in arms about it before they've even had a chance to actually get to know it or try it. And me using this just now a few minutes ago, it's fine. In terms of the interior, I think I would probably take the K5 over it just because of the lack of materiality that the Hyundai Sonata presents. But still a good choice if it doesn't bother you that much. If I were to rate this interior, it would probably be 6 out of 10. But let's head to the back seat and see what's going on back there. All right, and getting in the back seat, The Hyundai Sonata definitely still makes a great case for itself as a family sedan. There is so much room back here. Now keep in mind though, if you actually go for the Elantra, there's more rear seat room in the Elantra than the Sonata, which is a crazy and weird fact, but that is true. This has about 34.8 inches of legroom and 38.4 inches of headroom, so you should have plenty of space back here for small kids or even adults. I'm 5'7", the seat is adjusted to my position, and I have so much space, so even small adults or regular sized adults can get in here. Now, if you do get a panoramic sunroof though, which is offered, and I believe a regular sunroof may be offered, I could be incorrect, then you'll have less headroom, but I don't think it'll affect the overall feeling of space in here much. Then something we haven't talked about yet is the seats. The seats in here, even though they are cloth, feel really comfortable and weirdly, supportive. I think Hyundai is doing a great job on making sure that when you're driving it, you're definitely still comfortable, even though I've talked bad about the materials in here. All right, now let's look at the trunk space. It's supposed to have about 15.6 cubic feet of trunk space, and we should have the hands-free smart trunk option. Okay, I know we have it, but it's not working right now. We're on a time limit. So as we open it, this is very big. I'm pretty sure if you're doing anything regular that doesn't require an SUV, you should have plenty of space. So, keep that in mind. This is very competitive in terms of trunk space. All right, now getting back inside, let's talk about power. This has a 2.5 liter four-cylinder, making about 191 or 192 horsepower, and it's fed through an 8-speed transmission, which, very standard equipment these days. And the horsepower numbers, also very standard for a budget sedan or budget midsize sedan. So you should have plenty of power to go about your everyday life in this thing. If you are looking for more performance though, go to the inline model and you can get over 200 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque, giving you a 0 to 60 of, I think it was around 5 seconds. This will do about 7 to 8 seconds. And then in terms of gas mileage, this should make 25 city, 36 highway, and about 29 miles per gallon combined. So this also makes pretty good gas mileage. If you want better gas mileage though, you can go for the hybrid. However, though, I have heard some different opinions on the hybrid powertrain. Some say that the transition from electric motors to the gas motor when driving can be kind of jerky, because it still uses the same system that the last generation Sonata used, or not last generation Sonata used, but their old technology, not the same thing you'll find in like the new Santa Fe. So keep that in mind if you're looking at the hybrid Sonata. Definitely test drive it before you buy it. Now, this model that I'm sitting in right now is $23,000 because it is a pre-owned model and it has about 14,000 miles on it. So if you are looking around for a used Hyundai Sonata, that is a choice because you're going to save a lot of money. However, the fact of the matter is, I wouldn't buy, me personally, I wouldn't buy any Kia Hyundai vehicle without the warranties, because that is really what makes it safe to buy. Even though I don't think, I think that some of the reliability issues have been inflated. Just to be safe, I would get it with the warranty. But if that's not something you're worried about, then go ahead and save the money. And the new model, the new Sonata SEL will hit you with about $28,000 starting for an SEL model. And with other trim levels, that can go up to like $35,000 and more. So that is kind of what you should be looking at for pricing if you're interested in a Hyundai Sonata SEL model. All right, guys, so now I'll do it for me. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and let me know, what do you think of the Sonata in comparison to its sister vehicle, the K5, and would you buy one? I would definitely get one. I love this Sonata and this generation, and especially the inline model. I think that's what I would go for, but because I really think it's not worth getting if you don't get the inline. But let me know what you guys think. Anyways, y'all have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye.